The best of Money Matters. The Big Story.
Welcome to The Big Story. I'm Hongbin Jeong. The People's Action Party won Singapore's general elections 2025 with a commanding 65.57% vote, taking 87 out of 97 seats in parliament. And while the PAP maintained its dominance, the Workers' Party retained strongholds in Aljunied, Sengkang, and Hougang, securing a total of 10 seats in parliament. While the win signals strong support from Singaporeans, PAP is quick to acknowledge the lessons from this year's election and the increasing uncertainty in the global landscape, urging the need for unity, resilience, and continued support from the people. So what does PAP's victory mean for the future of Singapore? And what can we expect from the opposition parties as they regroup and strategize in the new political landscape? Well, joining us today to find out more is Dr. Tan Ern Ser, who is the Adjunct Principal Research Fellow of IPS at NUS. Dr. Tan, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Tan, election results are out and the PAP has secured a solid 65.57% mandate. Now, voters overwhelmingly endorsed the ruling party, which secured 87 of the 97 seats. Was this expected? What were your initial thoughts about the results of this year's election?
Well, my initial thought is that if you have been following the social media and what netizens are saying, you get the impression that the PAP will not be doing well. So in a sense, I think many people will be quite surprised.
Right.
But then again, I think what happened is that the silent majority has spoken and they have given a resounding victory to the PAP.
Right. Well, was the results a big turnaround for PAP from GE2020?
Well, I think the difference between 2025 and 2020 is that, in 2020, Singapore is still in the midst of the COVID pandemic. But subsequently, after the pandemic, in like 2023, I think we hear a lot about inflation. We hear a lot about the affordability issues regarding housing. And then there's also the GST increase, right? So all this has to do with cost of living to citizens. And as a result of that, all those became issues that actually surfaced in GE2025. And for a while, we thought that this may hurt the PAP.
So what does the PAP's resounding victory kind of reflect about voters' sentiment and what they were really looking for in this year's election?
Well, I think it reflects what the silent majority have in mind. Right? It is about stability. It is about having a known reliable quality in office and running the government. And also, it is the track record of the PAP. And above all, perhaps, is also the Donald Trump's tariffs,
Right.
which will certainly impact us. In fact, it's already doing so. But maybe we do not know the worst as yet.
So in your opinion, Dr. Tan, what were some of the hits and misses of this year's election?
I think it is mostly hits for the PAP. I think the misses is more on the part of especially the PSP and the smaller parties.
Right.
And the many candidates who have lost their deposits.
So let's dive into some of this. I mean, it's the first general election under Lawrence Wong's leadership, and he's managed to reverse the PAP's vote share decline seen in 2020. Now, some had expected PAP to stumble at this general election, as you've earlier mentioned there, especially on social media, given that it's led by party chief Lawrence Wong for the first time. How significant do you think this win is for Mr. Wong personally? I mean, what message does it send about his leadership so far?
Well, it is clear that this is Mr. Lawrence Wong's inaugural election. And we can see that he's been in charge and he even handled this election, right? And therefore, if the results show something otherwise, like let's say below a 60%, I think that would be certainly a reflection of non-confidence in his leadership. But the fact that it rose from about 61 to now almost 66%, I think it shows a strong endorsement of his leadership and that of his team.
Right. I mean, during the campaigning and the lead up to the elections, we saw a lot of shift in PAP's strategies and tactics for this year's election. We saw a couple new faces as well. We've seen, DPM Gan Kim-young being placed in Pongo. Do you think, Lawrence Wong's or the PAP's victory this year really was just about how they strategized this year, or is it really the voters wanted more stability?
I think it was a pretty dynamic kind of election campaigning period. And the PAP and, of course, the opposition party as well have to make changes along the way, and improvise along the way. But having said that, I think the silent majority still believe in stability, still believe in having a steady hand, competent leadership to be able to steer us through the difficult challenges ahead.
Let's also take a look at the opposition here, Dr. Tan. Starting with the Workers' Party, they held their ground in Aljunied, Sengkang, and Hougang. I mean, some expected WP to try and push beyond their strongholds, but sadly that didn't materialize. Do you think WP underperformed, or were expectations simply too high?
I wouldn't put it that way. I mean, no doubt there is no expansion of territory, right? But certainly they're dug deeper. There's primarily a consolidation of their position and their strength.
Well, while it failed to make further inroads, Workers' Party was able to either match or improve its margins of victory in its 3 constituencies. Overall, Dr. Tan, was this election a good showing for the WP, or was it rather a slow progress? I mean, should they have contested more boldly?
Well, they could have done that, with the benefit of hindsight. But I think whatever they have already achieved does show consolidation, and also that they have actually become the other party in Singapore. So right now, I think we end up with something like a 2-party system, although a colleague of mine would say that it's more like a 1.5-party system.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. Well, looking at another opposition here, PSP lost their NCMP status and saw a significant drop in vote share. SDP and others didn't make much headway either, despite stronger than usual early visibility. Can the GE2025 results be viewed as a serious loss for the other opposition parties as they now trail further than ever behind the WP? Are they entering a decline?
I think for the smaller parties, I think it's obvious that they can't quite cut it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they wipe out this round and maybe never to return. But I believe that the SDP and the PSP will continue to fight, to struggle on. In the case of the SDP, actually, Secretary General Chee Soon-juan has improved on his proportion, vote share rather. And between 2020 and 2025 is done better. I think in the case of PSP, it's a fairly new party, and I think they still believe that they have a chance, and they will struggle on.
Well, what do you think fell short for the other opposition parties here? Was it their leadership, policy, or campaign execution?
I would say there's a whole package: leadership, messaging, candidates. Yeah, basically the policies, I think it's not well thought through. And I would say that the more serious is leadership as well as the candidates that they put up.
Right. Do you think the parties will go through some sort of rebranding for the next election?
Well, all of them claim that they will do some rebranding, right? But I believe that only the SDP and PSP will continue to be quite viable. As for the rest, it doesn't look very hopeful at this point in time.
Well, now with Singaporeans having returned the PAP to power, global risks were mentioned by several PAP leaders in their post-election speeches. Education Minister Chan Chun Sing, he even pointed out that the real competition for Singapore lies not within the country, but with the rest of the world. And the country must continue to field its best team backed by the people. What kind of global risks do you think the PAP will focus on, and how will this affect domestic policies?
I think it will primarily be the economy, and the economy meaning like jobs, like our industrial transformation. And of course, it will hit the people in terms of higher cost of living. And these are the kind of issues that surface in 2025. And I think they will appear again. But The PAP will have to show that it is quite capable of helping us steer through this difficult period ahead.
What role do you think the average Singaporean will play in helping the country compete on the global stage, and how do you foresee the PAP actively helping them?
I think it boils down to, being, as usual, upskilling, being relevant, and also being able to, maybe in the short run, sort of try to be able to bear with the maybe higher costs, and understanding that it is something that is external, it's not internally inflicted.
Well, looking ahead now, Dr. Tan, before we let you go here, what's next for the PAP, WP, and the rest of the opposition parties?
Well, I think the political landscape will be primarily the PAP and the WP. The PSP may still be around, but I think the rest will likely disappear from the landscape.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Tan, for your deep analysis there. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We've been speaking to Dr. Tan Ern Ser, who is the Adjunct Principal Research Fellow of IPS at NUS. This has been The Big Story with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.